Hi there craft friends, Louise here. Thanks so much for checking out this video. It's a 9x12 and it's for my Bali album, but I am using up my 100 pattern papers, challenge papers. Now you can see I've got this little packet of stickers over to the right, and with not that I'm on a no spend, but I'm trying to be low spend and I'm trying to bust as much stash as I can, but occasionally if I happen to be in the discount store, I might actually stop in at their little craft section to see if there is anything that might work with some crafty goodness. And so I found this little sort of zoo embellishment pack, and I thought, you know what, I have a fantastic story from our trip to Bali where we went to the zoo and we took one of the safari adventures. It was the night safari, and they put you in this cage, like you can see the photo there. That's not us in the cage, but that's just to show you what it looks like. So they put you in this cage and they take you around and you get to actually feed all the zoo animals. It's such a cool experience. And this one is the Sumatran tiger. He is not trained to do it, but he knows that if he does it, he gets rewarded and treated. So essentially, the Sumatran tiger jumps up on top of the cage, and the guides actually feed him chicken with some really big tongs, and it was just the coolest experience. Like, I would never have any other time in my life. And he was huge, and he had been laying around in the water because it was quite warm and humid, and so we had tiger water dripped all over us, and it was just honestly such a cool experience. But they had other animals there. They had the lions, they had hippos, they had giraffes, they had what they call red cows, which are kind of just like I don't even know, I don't think we have them in Australia, but they sort of look like buffalo, but then they've got the really long horns. Zebras and all kinds of really fun animals that you could sort of interact with in the safety of the sort of the cage. But honestly, the tiger was kind of the highlight of being at the zoo. So you can see I'm writing a fairly sort of in-depth story, basically the same as what I've just chatted with you about. And so, I'm building this layout around two things. So obviously the pattern paper challenge, but also this little packet of ephemera that I picked up, and really recording the memory and the story. So I thought the background paper that I chose was kind of a bit cool. You know, it's kind of spotty, almost, leopard-like, or, gives a bit of an animal vibe. And then I knew that I had this animal paper in my stash. So I actually turned the filming off for this and had to go looking for it. And it was kind of like a half-torn piece. So it was stored in the browns of my kind of patterned paper mix. So I store all my patterned papers by colour. I've talked about that in the past, and that just lets me go through and find one straight away when I need a particular pattern or color. And this worked out beautifully because I knew I had something with kind of like an animal print, but it took me a little while just to put my hand on it. And I love this. I think, the mix of the bright orange sort of pattern in the background, I've teamed it with a little bit of washi tape there as well, and then the really fun the leopard print or the animal print pattern paper too. Now, again, I had to stop and think about what I was going to do in this background. It still needed a little bit of enhancement. It wasn't quite done enough for my own liking, and so that's when I kind of come back to circular elements or some kind of background inking or stamping or something in that background just to add a little bit of highlight and enhancement. So I'm pulling out my circle cutters to use more as a template than anything else, and going to doodle around those, add a little bit of extra color. Doesn't have to be perfect because this is just about almost adding texture into that background. So it's really just to add a little bit of a pop of something, and I'm going to doodle into those circles with some more little circles. You can see I've chosen some chipboard elements off to the left there. Again, while I was looking for that animal print paper. I found I found a chipboard sheet from an old Cocoa Vanilla Studio collection, and it had the word "the best" as a title, and yeah, I thought the colors would just add a little bit of extra pop. So in finishing this layout, I'm simply going to add a few little extra bits and pieces in terms of embellishing, stick it all down. But yeah, the story is the main kind of element here, with a little bit of pattern paper use from my 100 pattern papers, and getting the memory recorded for my Bali album. So this was fun. I really enjoyed it. I hope that you enjoyed that story, and if you ever get to Bali, I hope that you can enjoy that experience, because honestly, it was so worth it. It was just, unique and in such a way that I would never experience it again. Alrighty, all finished up here. Thank you to everybody that watches and checks out my videos. I love creating content and sharing my scrap pages and being out there in YouTube land. So it's always really great when people are watching, and I hope that you're picking something up and enjoying it. As always, I wish you happy scrapping, and thank you so much for visiting and coming along.